swallowed the memory of fire and burning, along with everything else that had come out of it.
God, that's hot.
Grimacing at its bitterness.
I think I will come on.
No.
Susan had enough
No, that
tact
was not written there.
not to say a word at the shadow that crossed the taller woman's face. Yeah, shadow. Okay. In fact, she took this as her cue, straightening her shoulders and stepping out onto the gravel. I hear an engine. Pretty sure our little stalker doesn't drive.
No, he just stands there and looks in the windows. He caught Alex and Yasli from accounts, apparently.
Came the mumbled reply. Shock widened eyes, all at the mention of gossip.
Why did I not hear this, Miss Jackson, you kinky bitch? Were you watching?
Evelyn went even redder.
Susie, no! Oh my God, no!
She was in the bathroom crying about it. What was I supposed to do? Leave her there? Waving her silent, Susan sauntered out into the van. You're going to the van? You have no brain, obviously.
You are a dumb bitch.
Well, of course she's a dumb bitch.
Yes.
She's a blonde.
Now hurry up and help me with the packages before the components melt.
Our precious little computer wizard has his conniption.
Of course. But
No buts.
actually, it's kind of big.
No buts. Susan deftly unhooked the hand trolley from the back of the van,
Hand trolley.
unfolding the ledge and setting it down beside her.
Help me load this piece of crap and stop fussing about Alex this and Alex that. You fuss too much at Evie.
She held up a chiding finger when Evelyn went to reply.
You've only been with us 3 months. You've not seen the extent of Alex's bullshit. The woman will eat you up and spit you out. She doesn't care about your feelings. She's crying in the toilet. It's probably because she couldn't entice tall, dark, and ugly between her legs.
I'm gonna be sick.
Be sick on your own time. Susan snorted, doing a fair impression of their supervisor, before hefting the first box onto the trolley. Do you think we can get this all on at once? Wow, I am not going where that just went.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, I went there by implying I won't. The rambling got closer. And finally, a moped?
A moped.
Moped. They should... I don't know. That just looks like mopped. Moped. That's moped.
Yeah.
He moped. Pulled into the drive, parking haphazardly by the much-neglected bike racks that were supposed to encourage company morale.
The two women watched the people rush inside, carrying a couple of what looked like satchels,
Right.
bags that were specifically made for carrying things back on bikes, mopeds, any two-wheeler. Susan made a rude noise, sticking out her tongue. Lunch Express.
Wish they'd crash and kill themselves.
You don't mean that.
I do.
She's a bitch.
Something thumped in one of the boxes. They watched it with some suspicion, but when it didn't thump again, they put it down to something loose.
Loose like your crotch, lady.
We are totally doing this in one hit. You're right. It's damn creepy out here. Finally, Evelyn thought. So she wasn't paranoid, not completely.
Red Queen won't like it.
And what's that overgrown calculator gonna do? Report us to our supervisors? Vincent couldn't give a shit, and everyone knows Billings just comes down here for the free donuts. Not that we have many of them nowadays.
Maybe because you keep shoving them up your...
I mean, what?
No, it's because they chased Billings away because their donuts weren't just good enough.
I think donuts is a metaphor. I think we should just leave it at that.
Do you
Kind of
think
like
the research...
Princess Peach's cake.
Cake. You just
Yes.
don't want to know.
Cake. I don't want that cake.
No one
Do you
does.
think the research... Mario does. Came out of...
Mario's desperate.
Do you think the researchers come out of their holes when we leave? Well, you know, since you...
Well, they go into
I
a
haven't
hole.
heard anyone.
We're not talking about that.
I don't know anyone. You are not pulling me into another one of your stories against the staff who were here in the first place. They have a right to be here. We're just borrowing level 2 until I don't know, they fix our offices. If they fix our offices, sometimes it was really raw being the new person. Not that she was even that new. Her probation hanging over her head was like a guillotine. And with all the trouble of late, maybe it showed in her eyes that constant panic. Evelyn hefted the next box and slid it into place, hearing the clink of metal and glass inside. Lab parts? They finished with the files. At last, good news, finally. Please.
How did he make that sexy? How? She's picking up a box and it sounds like she's having sex with it. God, sakes, man.
Nice to meet you.
You and the writer. I mean, it's just crazy.
I'm evil.
For the last time, nobody cares. They just don't like the commoners like you and me. This one was heavy. They had to strip down.
They had to strip down the trolley and start over again. A fine balancing act.
This feels so dirty.
All the while they kept an eye out. There was a distant rumbling again, heavier and deeper this time. But neither woman could tell what it was. So if we should get back into our little haunted house, and if I decide to replace the coffee with decaf again, you'd better back me up, girl. Evelyn grunted in reply. That little practical joke
Has not been well received.
But she didn't feel she could chastise her friend for it. No, just everything else.
Your friend?
I need a
More
new
like your
whip.
chronic bitch slapper. Good God.
I smell S&M. And the company is large and sprawling as umbrella. Friends were hard to come by.
I'm sure they were.
The conversation lulled. The day was too hot to think, and with both of them dragging the overloaded trolley back across the gravel. Oh shit, where am I?
Oh, damn.
There was almost... Evelyn stopped, not knowing why. She could hear the rumbling. Car, definitely. Feel the sun. Too hot for May. Smell the grass. Something sickly, something dead. Overtures of blood? Remember what it smelled like when they burned? But where were the birds? Where did everyone go? Looked over her shoulder, caught a glimpse of something to their right. Something that drove the heat from her body.
Shit, Suze!
What? Both twisted around, the trolley teetering about without its support.
Fuck me. It's...
No, I won't. You fucked everyone else. I'm not touching that. And then screeching, blaring, tumbling. The black car swung into the car park without heeding the fact that either of them were there. Fuck! With a strength Evelyn didn't know she possessed. She managed to haul Susan out of the way a moment before Bonnet could catch them. The trolley at last fell, dented by the bumper and spinning on a wheel as parts went everywhere. Bruised everywhere.
Everywhere.
Oh,